Good morning, students. Yes, students, you can hear me. Good morning, students. Am I audible, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. I hope all your batch 1 students have joined. Okay, can anybody will tell me which program we have done last time? Yes, students. Yes, nobody remembered. Nobody wanted to tell. Is this screen visible, students? Students, I am asking you something. If you will not reply, I will not take the practicals. If you want 5 minutes, you tell me, you ask me for that 5 minutes, I will wait for 5 minutes. But when I am asking something, I want the reply. Is the screen visible?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so I think last time I have told you very basic programs. that we can do it in C++ without using classes and all. But today we will see some of the programs with classes. But before that, we will see some more things like how we can execute functions in your C++ program, or how we can make use of variables in your program. Have we done with the scope resolution operator program last time? Anybody remember? Yes, anyone? Anyone remembered which all programs we have done last time? Or nobody remembered? Okay, listen. So now, last time I think most of the students have missed also, missed the practicals because I forgot to inform. So then I will take some of the programs again. So what we are going to do now, we will be learning the basic programs where basic programs how like the C programs which we have done. But that program how we will write it in C++. In today's practical also we'll do that, and then we will move to the classes program. Then we will learn that scope resolution operator vara program, and then how to use manipulators and all that we will see. Manipulators and functions in your program. So the first program, I think this program we have done. So if you, those who have done, even if you'll not do it, it's okay. But you tell me if we have done this. Now just see what we are doing in this particular program. You have in the main first of all what I have done, I have declared certain variables as float. So this is what called as your variable declaration. Number 1, number 2, sum and average, these are the variables which will be required in your program. Okay, next what you have now, after that, if like suppose I may, what I can do, I can directly assign some value to these numbers. So then I will not have the cin statement. So what I will do, I will simply write number 1 is equal to some float value, and number 2 also equals to some float value, and then I am doing sum of the two numbers and I am finding the average. And after that what I wanted to do, I wanted to print what is the value of sum and what is the value of average. Have we done this program last time?
No, ma'am.
Okay, thank you for replying. Okay, so just see what I have done. This is a simple program. This type of programs you have written in C also. But the only difference is that now displaying the output, what we are doing, we are using the cout directory. We are using the cout along with this exertion and insertions operators. Okay. So what is, you are not using a printf statement, and since you are using the C in cout, you have to include this hash include iostream file in your program. Okay, now if I'll execute this program, I'm getting the sum as 131 and average as 65.5. Okay, so whatever the values I have given, I should get the based on that I am getting the sum and the average. Okay, hope this is clear to everyone. There is nothing much in this particular program. Yes, students,
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
copy this program. Now the other way to write your program is what? Instead of assigning values to your variables, you can ask that values to the user. So what you can do, you will be writing first of all, now what values you wanted to ask to the user. So for that this cout statement is written. Cout enter two numbers and then you are taking the values for this number 1 and number 2. So for taking the input from the user, you need the cin operator. So you are writing cin number 1 and cin number 2. This will also give you the sum of two numbers and the average of two numbers as you are printing it at the end. So when I'll run this particular program, now it will ask me to enter two numbers. So I have to enter some float value and suppose 13.2. These are the two numbers I am entering. So it will do the sum of that and it will also do the average of it and print it. Clear? Now copy this program. Done students?
No, ma'am. Done, ma'am.
Now we'll move to the next program. Hope all of you are done with this program. Yes, everyone?
Yes, ma'am, done.
Yes, ma'am.
Now we will move to the next program. Now next is our scope resolution operator program, which we have done during the lecture also. Okay, so I'll just type that particular code or copy that particular code. So I'm just removing this one. Now see this program. Now you will be listening. All of you please listen first and then you can do this program. Now what is scope resolution operator? Whenever you are using two colons, you can see it here. Whenever you are using two colons, this will be called as your scope resolution operator. Now what is the use of the scope resolution operator? If you remember, I have told you in the lecture that scope resolution operator is normally used to refer to the global values of the variable. Okay, as well as it is also used to refer to the functions of the specified class if you wanted to access them outside the class. If you wanted to access the functions of the class outside the class, then this scope resolution operator will be needed, as we have seen in the lecture. Okay, now how we'll be using it? You have a simple program where you have declared int m is equal to 10 outside your main. Whenever any variable declared outside the main or outside your main function, it is what called as your global declaration. Yes, so if since I am writing this int m is equal to 10, this m becomes my global variable, and this whole thing is what called as your global variable declaration. Okay, now next is, now this m, what I am doing, I am just updating this value of m in the different parts of my program. So if you'll see in the main, now when I am opening the main function ka bracket, I have reinitialized the value of m to 20. Okay, and then again I am opening the another block, and in that block I have assigned that value of m to this integer k, and again I have reinitialized m to 30. So here you can see m is reinitialized to 30. Yes, yes students.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
I want others also to respond. There should not be only one girl or one boy responding for the whole during the whole class or the practical. Otherwise, if it is like that, I will mark the others as absent, and those who are giving me the response, only those students as present. Please make this clear. So now I am there in this particular block, right? So this is what called as your inner block. Why it is called as inner block? Because you have inside main function, you have already you have opened one block, right? This is your first block. This block you can call it as an outer block, because another block you are opening it block, or you can say you are opening another curly brackets, right? So this is what called as your inner block. So just to know that you are there when you are executing this program, to get to know that this you are there in the inner block, you are typing the statement C out, we are in a inner block. Okay, and then you wanted to print the values of each one of this variable. So first of all you wanted to know what is the value of k, what is the value of m, and for some time now I will just comment this one. Scope resolution m अभी हम लोग नहीं देखते हैं. We will just try to print the normal values of k and m. So inside the inner block also, inside the inner block you are printing the value of k and m. Then you are coming it to the outer block and you are printing we are there in the outer block, and then again you are printing the value of m. Now we wanted to check which all values will get printed. So can anybody will tell me what output I will get for this code?
Ma'am, first we are in the inner block,
Hmm.
then k equal to 20,
Hmm.
then m equal to 30,
Hmm.
then again we are in the outer block,
Hmm.
m equal to 20.
Okay, what about the others?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Yes, Alok. Chirag, Ajil, yes Ajil, Mahalakshmi, yes Mahalakshmi. What will be the output? Will it be the same as she said? What's her name?
Yes, ma'am. Sweetie said right, ma'am.
Okay. Aishwarya,
Hello. Yeah.
uh,
I'm M is equal to 20 in outer block and K is equal to 20, M is equal to 30 in inner block.
okay. So others whose name I have taken and they have not responded, I'll consider them as absent. Okay. Okay, so as you people are saying, if I'll run this program, I'll get k is equal to 20. First I'll get we are in inner block, and then we'll get k is equal to 20, m is equal to 30, and then we are getting we are in outer block and m is equal to 20. Okay, now this value, why this value none of the m has printed? M is equal to 10. We did not get this value of m anywhere. We got value of 20 also, we got the value of m equals to 30 also, but we did not get m is equal to 10. Why it is like that? Can anybody will tell me?
It refers the corresponding block.
It refers to the corresponding block. Okay, who said that?
Yes,
I think Ajinkya. Yes.
yes, ma'am.
Okay, or otherwise you can say that whatever he said, that is correct. It corresponds to it is actually referring to the corresponding block. Okay, or you can say that it will check the scope of that particular variable. Where will be the scope of that particular variable? Okay, this is always, you should call it as the scope of the variable. So whether it is local or global, when you are talking about this first variable m is equal to 10, this is global, means it will, the scope of this program will be throughout the program, it can be used anywhere. But the problem is what happens, since the value of m is getting reinitialized, so your m is getting updated with the new value, and inside this outer block your m value is 20. So this m value, the scope of this m value is until you are not closing this main function. Okay, so this m is equal to 20 I can use anywhere in this outer block. Okay, then here you have reinitialize m is equal to 30, which is local to this particular block. So the scope of this m is equal to 30 is within this block. So until you are not closing this block, it m is equal to 30 will only be used. Okay, but k is equal to mq. Why this is, with this we are getting it as 20? Because already m is initialized as 20, so that's why k is equal to, we are getting it as 20. Okay, and after that we are updating the value of m is equal to 30. So this is what referring to the scope of the variables, where you have the scope of variable. Scope of variable मतलब उसका life कहाँ तक है, ये m का life throughout the program है, anywhere you can use. But the problem is, since the same variable is used inside the blocks, and then it is getting reinitialized, so it will refer to the local values only first. Okay, and to overcome this problem of local values getting access, if you wanted to refer to the global values, what you can do, in front of that variable you can make use of the scope resolution operator. So whenever any variable used with the scope resolution operator, that variable will refer to the global value of it. Okay, so that's why now if you'll execute this program, what will be the output? What will be your output? You will have same output, but along with that you will also get scope resolution m is equal to 10. Okay, so you got m, we are in inner block, k is equal to 20, m is equal to 30, and scope resolution m is equal to 10. So in both the blocks you can say, you can see that scope resolution m refers to the global value, and it gives the answer as is equal to 10. Hope this is clear to everyone.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Now copy. Okay, all of you please copy this program now fast.
Done, ma'am.
Done, students?
Done, ma'am.
See, now as we have seen in the theory lecture also, there are so many advantages we have of C++ over the C language. Like there are so many inbuilt functions you have which you can use it in your program, so that you can make use of certain things in your program very clear. Like when we are using classes and object concept, it becomes very much clear that which data to hide from the user and which data can be accessible to all the users. Okay, same way, what happens, sorry, I was on a mute. Mm, like how you sometimes what happens, you wanted to print your data with a particular format. Like suppose now, I wanted to print the name, roll number and the class of each one of the student. Now suppose I wanted to print this data of, suppose instead of all students I wanted to print it for 5 students, but I want the details to be printed in one column. Like it should be formatted properly, there should be a proper indentation between each one of the field that you have. If you wanted to do that, there are certain manipulators you have in C++. What you have? You have manipulators in C++. What is the use of these manipulators? There are so many manipulators you have, but today now we will be seeing only one. The use of these manipulators will help you to print your output in a particular format or print your data in a particular format. Okay. Like suppose, like as I said, like if you want the roll numbers to be printed first, so all the roll numbers to be printed in the first column, you will print it in that way. Then you have, if suppose you wanted to print, what you can say, if you want, then you in the second column you want name and you want all the names to be started with one particular line. So then you can make use, then you can do that also. And to do that, you have one manipulator which is called as your set W manipulator.
Hello, ma'am. Ma'am, we have done this.
Manipulators you have done.
Yes, ma'am. Manipulator for this and for multiplication and addition.
Okay. That set W function we have used in the class. So you are saying, or in practicals?
In practicals.
That's okay. Then we will not
Yes,
do
ma'am.
this. Okay. If you have used manipulators, then there is no use. We will not do it again. Okay, fine. Then, so like that. So set W have we have used. So all of you are aware about how we can print that set W. How we can print the values with the set W. Okay. Same way, endl is also your manipulator. Like that, there are so many other manipulators we have that we will see as and when, if as and when it comes in our particular topic. Now, have we seen how to use functions in your program?
Ma'am, for that multiplication and addition?
Multiplication, addition, have we done it using functions? फंक्शन यूज करके लिखा है क्या
Yes,
मल्टीप्लिकेशन?
ma'am. Yes, ma'am. But
Okay.
not class. We have done it
हाँ
by.
हाँ हाँ ओके. If we are done with the functions, then we will simply move to a class program now. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So the next program will be on your classes and objects, where we will be creating one class called as person. Now just see how what all changes I am doing. I hope all of you have noted down this program. Now see, I have created one class called as person. So this is your first program of practical number 1. Till now, whatever the programs we have done, that you will add it in your journal, in the assignment, you will add it as the introduction to C++, prerequisite to C++, that programs like that you can give the heading to your programs. So all of you just see this program first, and then I'll give you a time to do it. You have a class person, where inside the class person I have declared one variable name of size 30. What do you mean by this? This I have taken name, I have taken it as a name array. Because see, I have declared it as char. Name will not be of single character, right? Like if my name is Archana, I will not only type the character as A, or I don't want only the character A to be printed as the first character of my name. I want the full name to be printed. So if you want the full name to be printed, now you don't know how much is the size of each of the student's name or the first person's name. Maybe some person ka name will be of 10 characters, some person ka name will be of 15 characters, or whatever it is. So that's why you just define it, you just create this name array of size 30. For the safer side, we are creating it as 30, but even if you'll create it as of size 20, that is also okay. And we have one more variable, that is int age. These two we have declared in the private section, because here nothing is written. That means what? These two variables are these two variables are private. Yes, students.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Then we have a public. Then we have written this keyword access specifier public, in which now I have declared one more variable int roll number. So what do you mean by this? This roll number is public, whereas name and age are private in this class. All the three are the members of this class, and they are called as the member variables of your class. They are called as what? The member variables of the class, but name and age are private member variables and roll number is public member variable. So what's the difference in two? What do you mean by private variables and public variables? Yes, anyone?
Ma'am, we can use the public variable outside the class.
Okay, and what about the private variables?
We can't access it outside the class.
Okay, so that means you can use it only within the class. So as she said rightly, private variables we can use it only within the class, we cannot access them outside the class, and public variables we can access it anywhere as it is public. So that means it is publicly identified by anyone, or we can access it outside the class also. Then you have a get data method. Now here the getter and setter methods we will be introducing, or we will be learning that. What do you mean by this getter setter methods? Like whenever you wanted to get some inputs from the user to make it understandable for a third person, like what exactly you have written in your program, we have this getter setter methods. See, because even if I'll not write this void get data, my program will still work. My program will work, but what happens, this I have written it inside the class, so somehow I want these things to get executed. Okay, so then, like suppose now if I have not written this void get data, I will just comment this one and then we will see how it will get executed. Please don't type anything because I will be doing so many changes in the program. So this is a class, and please remember this structure, because whenever I'll tell you to write a class, any program using a class, you will have a similar kind of a structure. You have a class person in which you have declared these three variables. Abhi suppose you have not declared any function, directly you have written cout enter your name and cin name, and then cout enter your age and cin age, and then suppose you don't have this also, display method bhi nahi hai, you just simply wanted to display that name and age. तो दैट मीन्स अभी यहीं पे हम लोग ले रहे हैं एंड यहीं पे हम लोग डिस्प्ले कर रहे हैं. सो दिस इज ऑल द स्ट्रक्चर ऑफ योर class program. Now outside the class, when you start with your main function, we want somehow that function to get executed. Yes or no? Sorry, we want somehow the class to get executed. So to make that class executed, what you need to do? You need to create an object of the class. So how will you be creating an object of the class? The first step that you will do it in your main function is what? First you will write the class name followed by one particular variable. That becomes the object of your class. So what is my class name? Person. Person space P becomes the object of my class. Okay. And then I can write it like this. CP dot roll number is equal to 111. Now what happens if I wanted to if I wanted this code to get executed? Cout enter your name, cin name, ये नहीं execute होगा. Why? Because name and age are your private variables and you cannot access them from the main. Yes or no? So though you have written this statements, it will give you an error. Let's see. Can you see the errors?
Yes, ma'am.
Because we don't have an access to this. See, anywhere from main से हम लोग ये name and age access ही नहीं कर रहे. And even if I'll access it, like if I'll write p dot, what I wanted to write, name. Even if I am writing p dot name is equal to, suppose now I am giving a name and p dot age is equal to some age I am giving. So still it will give me an error. Now why it is giving an error? See, it will be giving that error for that. This is p dot name and for p dot get data. Why it is giving this error? Because we cannot access them as they are private. That I forgot that semicolon, but it was the error because of that. But roll number के लिए हमें error नहीं आएगा. The error is coming because of these statements. So suppose now I am blocking this whole thing. I'm blocking the whole thing. So how you want the things to get executed? Abhi name and age we cannot access it over here. Yes or no? So then name and age we will not be able to print. If we wanted to access them, what you need to do? You have to declare them in the public section. So here if I'll write character name of 30 and then int age. I can do that, and then here what I can do, I can ask the user cout enter your name. What I have to do now? I have to do cin p dot name. Are you getting, students? Either I
Yes,
have to
ma'am.
do this, or otherwise there is one more way. If you don't wanted to ask the user, then what you will do? You will write it like this: p dot name is equal to, you will directly assign the value. And same way you have to ask enter your age. Here what you will write, cin p dot age. Now we'll see if we are getting an error. Now we are getting that for that p dot get data, and this will not come because we don't have these functions. Can you see it's getting executed and it is asking me to enter the name. Suppose now I am entering the name as this daily name Sneha, age is 20. Now what happens? It is just displaying the roll number after that. Okay. Now I want the roll number to be printed properly. So what will I do? I will here write roll number equals to p dot roll number, and before that what I will do? Out name is equal to p dot name is equal to, means first of all you are asking the user to enter the values and then you are printing it. Now see, if I run this program, I will get the output in a particular format. So first I am asking the user to enter the name. So suppose I am entering the name as ABCD 10. So can you see I am getting the name as ABCD, age as 10, roll number as 111. Now since I have not used slash n, I am getting the output on the same line. So what I have to do? I have to type slash n at the beginning of each one of this statement. Now if I'll run it, can you see the name I am getting it as Ketan, age I am getting it as 20, and roll number I am getting it as 11. Understood, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
So we
ma'am.
can write it a class like this also. But अभी इसमें problem क्या हो गया? What will be your problem? Just for declaring your variables, will you create your class? ये तो हम लोग फिर ये variables this variables we could have written in main also, right? Because anyways maximum thing we are writing it in main, so it is similar like your normal C++ program. Only the thing is you have just created one class and declared two variables inside it. Have you done anything else in the class? No. So then to make your program much more simpler to understand, what you need to do, instead of declaring and writing maximum statements in the main, in the what you can do, you can write them in the class itself. So and then अगर class में भी हम लोगों ने एक के नीचे एक सब कुछ लिखा, like without any function, then also it will create a problem for understanding. So that's why what we do, we create the function and we write it inside the class, so that either we can write it inside the class or we can write it outside, so that it becomes easier for the user to understand what that function is actually doing. Like if you're saying that get data का काम क्या है? Get data का काम क्या है? It has to take the input from the user. It has to get the input from the user. So only that statements I will write it in the get data. And display का काम क्या है? Just to display the variables of your class. So I will write only that statements in that display method, right? So that's why normally what you do, you will write this getter and setter methods in your class. So again in this also you have a different ways, like either you can write the function inside the class itself, or sometimes you can write the function outside the class also. वो हम लोग बाद में देखेंगे. अभी इधर क्या किया है हमने, फंक्शन इनसाइड द क्लास लिखा है. So what you have a class declaration. So you have class person. Then in that you have private variables declaration. This is what the private variable declaration part. Then you have one public keyword, public access specifier, in which you have declare one public variable. Okay. Then this is a function body. Yes or no? This is the function body. So that means what you have done, you have written a function definition inside the class. So this means that these two are also the members of your class and they are called as the member functions. Get data and display are called as the member functions of the class person. Clear, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, so you can see here, I have written get data, which is asking me to enter the name and then scene name, and then enter your age and scene age. And then display me, you are just displaying it. So then there is no need to call the scene and see out statements over here. So I will remove all this from here. And what I will do, I will just create the class. Means what you wanted to do, the lines of code which you are writing in main function, that you are reducing, because your actual program execution starts from where? From the main. So main में हमें क्या करना है, minimum code लिखना है, and we are making it much more simpler by understanding how the code is segregated between the different modules of your class or between the different parts of your program. Okay, so then what I am doing, since get data is the functions of the class, you need to call the function. अभी function calling normally कैसे होता है C में, like you normally like a function name, like you will write, if get data is your function, you will simply write get data followed by the brackets and then semicolon. Yes or no? This is the way you call your function. But abhi, since if you'll call the function like this, it will give you an error. Why it will give you an error? Why it is giving the error? Yes, students. Can anybody tell me why this statement is giving me an error?
The function is already called, we just have to access it.
No, not because of that. See, I can comment this. Even if I'll comment this, it will give me an error. These two, if I have commented, it will still give me an error. Why? Because as I said, see, get data, you have defined it inside the class. So it is local to your class. It will be known only to your class. But we have declared it in the public section. That means we can access it outside the class also. But if you are accessing it if you are accessing it outside the class, you should know to which class that function belongs to. What we should know? We should know to which class that function belongs to, because maybe you may have later, now you have only one class, but maybe later you may have more than one classes. So that time you should know a function which you are calling outside the class, how it is referring to a particular class. So that's why you have to call that function always with the object name. So that's why here what we are doing, this statement is not giving us the error. When you are writing p dot get data and p dot display, these statements are not giving us the error. All of you are understanding, students?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
If I am going fast or if you are not able to understand, please let me know. I will explain it again. But please make the things clear to you. Okay. See what happens. Normal get data likha, तो it will not be accessible. वो function calling method है. But what happens now when you are accessing it outside the class, you should know this get data is belonging to which class, or it is a member of which class. So it is a member of person class. So we can access it using the object of that particular class. So that's why P is what? The object of your class person. So we are writing P dot get data and we are writing P dot display. So now when I'll run this particular program, I'll not get an error and it will ask me. What happened now? See, now it is asking me to enter your name. Now suppose I am entering the name as Neha. Age is 10. So I am getting name is equal to Neha and age is equal to 10. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
So copy this program now. Yes, everyone understood? Or if you have any doubt, please ask.
Ma'am, roll number is declared in the public, right? So where will we put these see out and see in statements of the roll number along with the age and name, or in the main function? Ma'am,
As master
Yes.
I had a doubt.
Hmm.
Ma'am, rule number is declared in the public section, right? So where will we put these see out and see in statements of the roll number in the main function or along with the age and name?
See, anywhere you can put it. Now, roll number you have just declare it over here. It is not assigned. So you can assign a value to it and just print it over here. Like suppose अभी यहाँ पे int roll number is equal to मैंने इधर ही लिखा for namesake. Suppose I am writing it over here. So 10 लिखा मैंने and I wanted to print it. So I can write it. See, I am just showing you the different ways, students. You can try it out however you wanted to print your things. अगर मैंने लिखा then also it will print your roll number, or otherwise what you can do, along with enter your name and enter your age, you ask the user to enter the roll number also and print it. So here you have to add two more statements, see out and see in statements for the roll number, and here ये यहाँ पे roll number वाला statement आएगा, तो you will get the roll number also. See, if suppose now I have entered the name as ABC, age as suppose 12, so I will get name as ABC, age as 12 and roll number as 10. This way also I can do it, or I can assign the roll number over here and write down the cout statement here also. Are you getting? Since roll number is
Yes.
public, see, since roll number is public, I can do the assignment over here also and I can print it out. Like suppose, this is one way, you just remember it. Now, if suppose I have not declared, I have not assigned a value. And here also suppose I don't have a cout statement. So what I can do, I can write p dot. Now since roll number is what? Public, right? So I will write p dot roll number is equal to 10 over here, and simply then after displaying this name and roll number, sorry, name and age, I wanted to display the roll number also. So I will write cout roll number equals to p dot roll number. ऐसे भी लिख सकती हूँ मैं. See, now if I'll run, I'll again get the same kind of output. XYZ, age is 34. Can you see? XYZ, age is 34 and roll number is 10. Understood, Aishwarya?
Yes, ma'am. Thank you.
So both the things you copy it in your program. I cannot show you all the programs separately. So you just make a note of it and understand it. Yes, everyone understood the program? Is done, everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
So now we'll move to the next program. All of you please understand, actual practical programs will be similar like this. So that's why please understand whatever I am doing it in the code. Now in the next program, what we'll do, we will see how we can do a nesting of member functions. What you will be writing? Nesting of member functions. Nesting of member functions, how we'll do it. So for that, now since these programs I have done with other batch, so I have all the programs ready with me. Otherwise, I'll be typing it. See, now I have a class set. All of you please understand. I have a class set in which I have declared two variables as private, m and n, and then in public now I have three methods. Three methods, or you can say three functions. What is this called as? This is function declaration or definition? Student?
Function declaration.
All these is called as your function declaration. Void input, void display, void, and void int largest void. These are all your function declarations. Okay. Now, what you this see, so this is a class structure. ये पूरा मेरा class structure है. तो ये class structure क्या define कर रहा है? This class structure is telling me that there are two private variables and three public functions, member functions of the class. Okay. So now I have to expand this class body. तो देखो अभी मैंने क्या किया, I have just given the declaration, means I have just told the user that this will be the members of my class and this will be the member variables and the member functions of my class. Now this is just the declaration, so I have to write the function body. So to write these functions outside the class, now in the previous program what we have done, functions हमने कहाँ लिखा था, function body किधर लिखा था पहले वाले प्रोग्राम में, class person में void get data
Inside the
and display.
class.
We have written it inside the class. Now in this program we are seeing how we can write it outside the class. Okay, what we are seeing how we can write it outside the class. So to write it outside the class, what we need to do, we need to write the return type of that particular function, then the class name, and then your scope resolution operator. Okay, so our class name is what? Set. What is the return type of your input? It is void. This is the return type. Okay, what do you mean by void return type? If the return type is void, what do you mean by that?
The function returns no value.
The function returns no value. Okay, very good. Whenever a function doesn't want to return any value, you can write the return type as void. So we are writing a return type as void, then input, and then void. That means it is not having any parameters. So while defining that function outside the class, you will write this return type followed by your class name. Then we have to write the scope resolution operator and then input. अभी क्यों हमने, so now you will understand why we have used the scope resolution operator. Now input is a member of class, but which class? कौन सा class का वो member है? Maybe I may have another class also, class set 1 also in my program. So just to define that, input is a member of your class set. You are using in between the class name and that function name, you will be using the scope resolution operator. Is this clear to everyone?
Yes, ma'am.
Students? How we are using scope resolution operator with the functions? Okay, whenever you wanted to define your functions outside the class, you need a scope resolution operator. Okay. Now what you wanted to do it in input, you just wanted to take the values for this m and n, which are the two variables that you have declared in your class. So you are asking user to input the values for m and n, and you are just accepting that values. Then in display, you are displaying that values. You are just displaying the values of m and values of n. Then you wanted to calculate whatever the value the user has entered for m and n, उसमें से which value is the largest one. You wanted to print the largest value. Okay. So to print this largest value, you have defined a separate largest function. Okay. What I have done, I have defined a separate largest function. So what I am doing it over here, the return type of this largest, see ये दोनों का return type तो void है, but largest का what is the return type? Integer. If the return type is of integer, float or double, what do you mean by that? That function should return a value. Yes or no? So that means that function will have a return statement then. So what I need to do then, I have to define one more function, that is largest, and then in that I have to, मुझे क्या करना है, सिर्फ m and n में जो बड़ा है I have to return that, I have to print that. So that's why suppose अभी ये statement नहीं है, I am just commenting it. You are just printing values of m and n, right? Then what I'll be doing, I'll be checking whether m is greater than equal to n. If अगर m बड़ा है, if m is greater, I will return m. Else otherwise I will return what? N. Are you getting? And then I wanted to print that value. I wanted to print the largest value. So what I can do in the main, now what I said, whenever you wanted to call your functions, you always need to take the object. You always need to have an object of your class. And don't think that all object of the class should always have the first letter of your class name as the variable. It is not like that. You can create it with any alphabet. Object you can create it with any alphabet. Just remember that it is the object of your class. So set A. So A is my object. So with that A, I can call the input method and I can call the display method. Okay. Now I can call the largest method also. But in the largest method, are you printing any value? See, like suppose here I will write A dot just. Now what output you should get? First it is asking me for the for entering the values of m and n. Suppose I am entering m as 12 and m as suppose 10, n as 10. What has happened? Yes students, what has happened?
Ma'am, the largest wala part is not showing.
Why it is not showing?
Because we haven't written any cout statement for largest, ma'am.
We haven't written the cout statement for largest. Kef, you have, what time you have joined, Kef? You have, I think you have joined late, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Why?
Ma'am, actually, I thought today there is the practical of other subject. That's why I forgot, ma'am.
And you are there in a you are there in batch 1 or batch 2?
I am in batch 1 only, ma'am. Ma'am, but yesterday there was also the practical of NSM for batch 1. So I thought it would be for batch 2 today. That's why I woke up late.
Okay, okay. Okay, so now what I was telling, now though we have written the code for finding out the largest, still it is not printing because we have not written anywhere the return statement or sorry, see out statement to print that value. Largest value हम लोग print ही नहीं कर रहे, we are just returning it. वो return किसको होगा? When you are writing the return statement, to what it always returns? Yes, student.
Sorry.
C में when you are writing a return statement, that return statement is given to whom? Are you getting my
Printf.
question?
to see out.
सी आउट को हम लोग कैसे रिटर्न करेंगे? इट शुड बी रिटर्न टू द फंक्शन इटसेल्फ, यस और नो?
Yes,
That
ma'am.
means somewhere that function need to be called. Have we called that largest function anywhere? अगर
Yes,
वो
ma'am. In the main
largest,
function we have called.
अच्छा, here we have called a dot largest, but a dot largest को value नहीं मिल रहा है, then why it is
Yes,
not?
ma'am. Because we
Because
haven't written any.
because we have not written a C out statement, right? So then you have to write it C out a dot largest like this. If I'll do this, then my largest value will get printed. So now if I'll give the value as 15 and suppose 10, I will get the largest value. Okay, this is one way, right? But then what you need to do, you need to call that function with your object, right? So always it is not necessary to call that function with the object. Wherever you will call that, the written value should get printed. Okay, so what do you mean by nesting of member function? Like one function, when you are calling it inside the another function, it is what called as your nesting of member function. Okay, so instead of calling the C out a dot largest, I can call it in another function also, because all the three are the members of the class. So I can call, see, even this order is not necessary that you, the way you have declared the functions, the same way you should write the function declaration, function definition. It is not like that. I can call I can write the display method first, then the largest method, and then the input method also, because it depends upon how you have called. कॉल करने के टाइम पे यू नीड टू फॉलो द सीक्वेंस, बट डेफिनेशन लिखने के टाइम पे यू कैन राइट इट एनीवेयर. सी, बिकॉज लाइक class, though we are writing class first, is our class getting executed first? Does our compiler start with the class keyword?
No, ma'am. It starts with
No,
main.
it starts with main only, right? So that doesn't mean that you should start. So the what I wanted to tell, like function definition, you can write it in any sequence, but calling should be in a proper order. Okay, so one way is either you write the cout statement over here, or otherwise, what is the other way? What is the other way? You can call that function inside the another function, because when you're calling it inside the another function, you don't require the object also. You can simply write it in this way, like cout largest value is equal to, and then you are calling that largest function. So when this function is getting, then when this function will get called, it will get executed, this largest function will get executed, and whatever the value you will get, that value will be given to this largest function, so that it will get printed. Understood?
Yes, ma'am.
Otherwise, now there is one more way also to this program. What is the third way that you can do it? Agar suppose if you don't wanted to call it inside the display method, or you don't wanted to print inside the display method, say print nahi karna hai display method mein, you can call it inside the display method, but you don't wanted to print it inside the display method. So then in that case, what you can do, instead of writing this statement, you just simply write largest over here. You just call the largest method over here, and then what you can do, you can declare this int largest के जगह पे you declare it as void largest void, give semicolon. Since you have written void largest void, so this also will get changed. Yes, students, what you will write then? Void set scope resolution largest void. And what you will do, instead of writing return m, now what you will write, students? Can anybody will tell me what I can write it here? I can simply write a cout statement over here. If m is greater, I will print m. Yes or no?
Yes, miss.
Yes, ma'am.
Out. So this will also give me an output. So if I'll execute this, if I suppose I'm printing 56, I'll get the largest value as 56. So this way also I can do it. तो इसमें मैंने changes क्या किया, largest function को I have called it inside the display only, but now instead of returning value to that largest function, I am printing it in the largest function itself. I am printing the values in that function itself. So this way also you can do it. So these are the different ways in which one program can be written. Hope all of you have understood this.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, Ajinkya, Ajil. Yes, Ajinkya. Aishwarya.
Yes, ma'am, understood.
Sweetie.
Yes, ma'am. Understood.
Copy this program fast.
Ma'am, can you scroll up?
Done everyone with this program?
No, ma'am.
Okay, first all of you please note down one question. Now you will be trying this program. Yes, everyone please note down one question. It will be similar like our previous program. So the previous जो class person वाला program लिखा है ना वैसा ही तुम्हें लिखना है. Yes, all of you are noting it down.
Yes, ma'am.
Write down. Design a class employee. Design a class employee. Design a class employee for reading and displaying employee information. Reading and displaying employee information. Create two functions of the class, that is get info and display info. Create two functions of the class get info and display info, where get info will accept the input of the employee. Get info will accept the input of the employee, and display info will display it. Got it, everyone?
What all data should we accept from the user?
So for employee, see get info में तुम्हें क्या क्या चाहिए? You need to accept the name of the employee, date of birth of the employee, and date of joining of the employee. These three details you want. You can also add whatever else you wanted to, like employee ID भी तुम्हें करना है, so you can accept that also.
Okay, ma'am.
Now all of you will be trying this program without copying it from anyone else. You will try it. You will try this program and put it in the chat box. This is your practical program. And then next time I will give you the actual code. Whatever the changes we wanted to do, we will do the changes in this particular program, and I'll give you that code. Understood, everyone? The question. You'll be creating a class employee.
Repeat the question once again.
See, design a class, design a class, an employee for reading and displaying the employee information. The this class will have two member functions: get info and display info. Where get info will accept the input from the employee, and display info will display the display the info of the employee. So what are input you have to take? Employee ID, employee name, his date of birth, and date of joining. Okay.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you.
So all of you will be doing this program now, and you will be putting it in the chat box, and all the other programs that you have executed, whichever programs you have done, you will be putting that also all together. Is this clear to everyone? Once you are done, and please note it down, please listen. Once you are done, then you can leave the meeting. Okay.
Ma'am, we have to send the code or the output.
Code.
Okay,
But
ma'am.
it should be you should get the output. Output वाला code चाहिए मुझे.
Okay, ma'am.
Yeah. And then you can leave. Once you have put the code, then you can leave.
Ma'am, I'm done. Can I leave?